I'd like to take a moment to offer an experiment for you to consider. I've been fascinated with the experience of the healing gift of nature, particularly the plant kingdom. Behind me looks like a whole bunch of trees in snow. In reality, what this picture really is a fully green grove of trees and a small river in the summer, fully green. The color you're seeing is a photography where the photography is only the infrared bandwidth. So this is photographing the infrared radiation or eminence, the gift that's coming off of the green trees. So the green trees are reflecting the infrared light back to you and us. And there's some pretty clear scientific evidence that the infrared bandwidth coming off of trees, and by the way, it's slightly different coming off of large plants versus grass or smaller plants, so that the wavelength of the infrared does change, but there is an ocean of infrared white coming to you. Now myself, I sit directly in front of a large window, and my reason for doing that is that the infrared actually goes through glass. Ultraviolet bounces off of glass, but the infrared comes directly in. The scientific studies, which you can find them on the internet, particularly infrared and mitochondria. The interesting studies have to do with how the mitochondria utilizes the infrared penetrating the body, and it penetrates apparently somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 to 2 inches deep into the body, which literally means into the skull, and in most cases even into the spine and the bones, going into the bones and the mitochondria throughout the entire body. They have found that the mitochondria actually use infrared that penetrates into the body to produce a melatonin molecule. And they find out that 95% of the melatonin produced by the infrared coming into the mitochondria is used for a term called autophagy. Autophagy is simply the body cleaning up dead cells. So the infrared produces the melatonin, and the melatonin acts like a vacuum cleaner to facilitate cleaning the body, so that 95% of that melatonin, which a great deal of it, by the way, is produced in the abdominal region, is primarily used for cleaning the body. That's the scientific version. Now, for me, the non-scientific version is actually more important. That the utilization of this degree of light coming into the body is an opportunity to be utilized not just by the mitochondria, but the entire physical body, and can theoretically increase the life force coming into the body. Now, my suggestion, and what I've been experimenting with, because particularly this is the 3-girl month, my suggestion is put yourself outside in nature. You can do it near a window if you want. Put yourself outside, and my suggestion is in a seated position. You can do it also in a standing position, but that changes the brainwave pattern and engages more of the sympathetic nervous system. But to sit down quietly, maybe even in a shady place where you're comfortable, and then practice utilizing the infrared that is emanating off of the plant kingdom. Now, the reason that that's important is that the infrared plant kingdom of the 3-girl month. What I mean by that is the 3-girl month is the plant kingdom month. And the plant kingdom is not only the primary food that all of us use, it's our primary medicine as well. Every human physical symptom probably has 3 or 4 molecules produced by the plant kingdom that are a specific medicine for that condition. That's what herbal medicine and some flower essence capacities all are about. Now, I'm suggesting that you engage another part of your mind to utilize this energy that's around you. Your eyesight, which is obviously your eyesight and your hearing, are part of the narrow bandwidth that you use your eyes to see things with, and the colors are all within that frequency of light that produces colors. But the mind also has a capacity to go beyond the frequencies of light that your eyes see. This going beyond this frequency is a clairvoyant function where you can see beyond the normal range of your eyesight. You can clairvoyantly see close or far, inside or outside, but I'm suggesting that you don't need to be clairvoyant to experience the results of this. I'm suggesting that you utilize the principles of water. Water is a correspondence to feeling, and a correspondence to spirit, or correspondence to soul. So water, feeling are very much connected to that part of you that has empathy and that part of you that has imagination. To magnify this, you might consider that empathy extended to a larger degree of diameter is called compassion. Now, I said a lot there. I'm suggesting that you sit quietly and you utilize this radiation with empathy and compassion, and utilize your creative imagination. Even if your eyesight can't see the white light that's coming to you, the radiation, you can experience it, imagine it, and take it directly into your blood. Go into the bones, the nerves, the muscles, if you want. Go into specific organs or go into all of them. But utilize this radiance in the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere, I have a different suggestion, but this is primarily for the northern hemisphere. You sit in nature and you drink this in with empathy and compassion. And you try to feel of it having the texture of water. This will increase your capacity to have a textural experience of feeling water. And you might think of it as white light if you can. You can also consider it white light with emerald green. The emerald green we're referring to is not necessarily the bandwidth that is in the eyesight range, but there's another emerald green which is at a higher octave, and it's much more alive. It's an emerald green that is vastly alive. So you can use the green that you can see with your eyes, combined with feeling, imagination, empathy, compassion, and feeling all of that with a higher emerald green, and you can feel it inside your body. And well, did I mention it was an experiment? Now, if you really want to be just a little bit more wild and crazy, well, which many times I like to be, I consider using this molecule that I've brought up before. This is the laminin molecule. This is the single scientifically recognized shape and texture of a single molecule that's responsible for all cellular integrity, cellular migration. It has everything to do with shape and consistency. This is the molecule that holds the entire body together in all of the cells, meaning it's replicated everywhere throughout the body. So if you would take everything I suggested and go inside of this molecule, I practice going inside that molecule, and I'll fill it up with the emerald green, and sometimes I use a sapphire blue first. I use a sapphire blue and a green, and I use the white light of the infrared coming in. I'm not saying it's going to give you, gray hair. I mean, my gray hair is almost matching this. Or you might consider doing this last image. I like this one. All this is a dandelion type picture, right? And for me, this is a very good composite of how your ancestors look. I know it's an odd thing to say that your grandmother and grandfathers actually look like this, but these are vectors in the upper 4, 5, and 6, and then the 1, 2, and 3. You can go inside of here, do the infrared, the emerald green. You can use the empathy, you can use the imagination, you can use the compassion. You can take a breath, and if you get really bold, while you're doing all this, take a break and breathe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're breathing at the rate of about 5 times a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, by the way, just happens to be the birth order positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 happens to be all of these times of the day. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 happens to be the breathing rate of 5, which is the breath of change. Normal people breathe 14 to 16 times a minute, but if you intentionally lower your breathing rate, not deep, not hard, gentle, through the nose or through the mouth, eyes open or closed, and you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're following this model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up the front is masculine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down the back is feminine. 5 breaths per minute. I recommend that you start with 1 minute, 3 minutes. I wouldn't recommend going much past 10 minutes. I don't think you need it at this stage. It's better to do something gentle and formulative. So that's my suggestion when it comes to the abundance of nature. I really enjoy seeing the difference in how the water absorbs but also reflects. Very different than the trees, but this is just what I've been doing. I thought I would share it with you. It's a busy summer in the Northern Hemisphere. I hope yours is going well. Talk to you soon.